Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our top running back sleepers for 2021 fantasy football season. We want to help you win your draft to win your league. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right meow.
Hey everyone, I am Justin, that is Kyle, and this is the Fantasy Football Upside. Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, last week we gave you our final installments of our 2 early rankings at QB and tight end. Make sure you check out those by clicking the links in the description below, and Cousin Kai is going to point where you can catch them.
Yeah, they're so early that they're already actually starting to change. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so
that
you should,
is for sure.
Yeah, so you got to run over and sign up for a Patreon membership over at our website at ffbupside.com, or you can get the membership also at patreon.com/fantasyfootballupside, or you can wait for our next edition of our Victory Draft Kit. The first edition's already out. It's got a lot of those rankings in there, but it's also got a lot of other information, tons of things like our consistency, our power rankings. And I think, what else do we have in there? We've got some crazy stuff in there, guys. We've been working on a lot of things.
Projections and everything.
Yeah,
like
all
that.
the stats from last year and everything. So head on over there and go ahead and get it. If you buy the first edition of it, you're going to get all subsequent editions. And just a little hint, if you head on over to the last episode that uploaded, there's still a few of the discounts left. So you got to watch the victory. What is it? The 14-team mock draft that we uploaded last Friday.
Yep.
That one's got a code hidden in it, actually. A code that you can figure out. Run over to our website and get the draft kit 50% off, Justin.
Dang.
So, all right, we'll not waste your time anymore, guys. We're going to dive in here. We're talking about our running back sleepers, top 6 running back sleepers for us this year.
Everybody's favorite subject.
Yep, sleepers all over the place. Now, they are spread out across the whole spectrum of a draft range, really.
Yeah.
We like to do some deep sleepers, some regular sleepers, guys who we think are going to, kind of being underdrafted a little bit. I don't know if they're exactly sleepers necessarily all the time, but we'll see. All right, here we go, Justin. We've got running back for us here. A.J. Dillon. That's right, 801 he's being drafted at. That's not a terrible sleeper, but it's because I think he's being undervalued significantly because he's the 36th running back off the board. That's nuts. I mean, why is he the 36th running back off the board? Look, last year, Jamal Williams was playing the role that A.J. Dillon is likely to step right into. And with him gone, that's a ton of opportunity to roll in rolls, touches, just anything, right? Williams had 119 carries and 35 targets in 2020. And there's no reason not to expect Dillon to just step right into that, Justin. That's just... Yeah. I see him doing it. He averaged 5.26 yards per carry last year. It's right behind Aaron Jones. I call him AJ now. I got to stop calling him AJ because it's AJ Dillon, right? It's going to get very confusing on text chain. But Jones actually. Well,
you know what? You cover both bases. Hey, this AJ guy.
Yeah, this AJ guy. Yeah, but Jones is actually he's 6th all time in the league with guys over a certain number of carries, a certain number of years or whatever. To yards per carry. And A.J. Dillon last year was just behind him. So that's pretty good. Now, he made his nut in just 2 games last year, right? So he blew up kind of big there. Did not exist in the passing game as far as I can tell. And so the concerns that I have here is that Kylan Hill's going to be the passing guy when Dillon's out there. I have a worry about that. I don't think that's going to happen right away. He's a rookie, so I don't see Kylan Hill eating in that much, but he was a 4th-round pick, and he was a pass-catching guy. I mean, he set the record for his college. I can't remember what his college was right off the top of my head. I want to say it's one of the SEC teams maybe. And he set the record for single-game receptions.
Mississippi State.
Yeah, he set the record for single-game receptions as a running back or something like that. It was like 22 or 24, some crazy number of receptions in a single game. But anyway, the last thing you need to know is that A.J. Dillon has a different nickname than everybody knows, right? Everybody thinks it's Quadzilla or Quadfather, right? His nickname's actually The Sauce. That's his real nickname. That's his actual real nickname. And the reason he's had that nickname since he was an infant, basically, was that he loved to eat applesauce like crazy. And so now he actually got an endorsement with Mott's. So draft the dude on that. Of course he did. He's actually the first person that Mott's has ever endorsed, ever signed an endorsement deal with. And it's a running back for the Packers. That's weird. But anyway, he's a great value.
I think dive we go
there
into
it is,
right?
There it is. I think you have to look at it and say to yourself that I think Jamal Williams was not as good as A.J. Dillon can be. And Jamal Williams was still given opportunity. And so if A.J. Dillon's getting that opportunity, in my mind, he's going to perform for you as a regular opportunity, like just regular flex player at worst most of the time. So that's why I like him.
He's definitely not a one-for-one replacement of Jamal Williams because they're totally different running backs. But, you take away some of the Jamal Williams passing game work that he got and you replace it with A.J. Dillon on the goal line, and you're probably going to get more production out of someone getting goal line.
That's why I still like Aaron Jones, right? That's why I like Aaron Jones still, is because he's going to retain the passing work. Yeah, he's going to retain all the passing work.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
All right, let's hit our second running back, Justin.
All right, it's going to be Salvon Ahmed, Miami Dolphins. He's an undrafted running back last year, so he's a rookie last year. And my biggest thing on this is, he's drafted 19th round, 4th overall in the 19th round. Are we really positive that Myles Gaskin has a stranglehold of the RB1 spot? And the reason why I say that is whenever Myles Gaskin was out, Ahmed had 291 total yards and 2 touchdowns in the 3 games. Mm-hmm. That is some top 12 finishes for him. And the thing is both him and Gaskin, they need to prove that they can stay healthy. But, it's one of those things where I think this guy is a really high-level handcuff that is worthy of a flyer at the end of your draft.
Oh, yeah.
He finished 35th in our 2020 power rankings, and being in the 19th round, that is probably double that year. You know what I mean? That's, like I said, this is a guy that you can take a chance on at the very end, because when given the reins, he's shown that he can produce at a very high level. Yeah. So
let me double check what it was here. He's 69th running back off the board there.
There you go.
So, and we were screaming his name last year, man. We were screaming it. Yeah. And so for him to finish where he did in our power rankings, I think is a testament to that. He was a flex player as a running back, and coming off the board that late, you can get a flex player. That's a great value, especially when you're looking at guys who are just straight up backups. That dude's not a backup. He's not a backup. He's going to see the field.
He is.
Yeah. All right, here we are. Running back 3. We've got Trey Sermon. Who? Yeah. Trey Sermon. He's going in the 9th round, second pick right now. He's 41st running back off the board on average. And so here we go. Look, Jeff Wilson projected to miss several months. Raheem Mostert unable to make it to the field so far. Sermon's got a path to carries right off the bat. So if you are drafting now, this dude's a sleeper somewhat, because you're getting a running back 1 potentially, not like a running back 1 overall, but a running back 1 for a team in the 9th round. That's insane. I think in a month, when most drafts are starting to go off, I think Trey Sermon's going to be a name that everybody kind of knows. So he's probably going to stop being a sleeper at some point. I think A.J. Dillon's the same way, except that A.J. Dillon's a little bit of a sleeper because he's still seen as a backup entirely. So look, San Francisco traded up to get Trey Sermon. And I think you can't ignore that fact, right? I mean, they traded up to get this guy. They know they've got injuries in their backfield. I think that he could end up being the steal of the 2021 fantasy football season, guys, at running back at least. I think it's a real possibility. Now, here are my concerns. The Niners aren't known to go with a one running back situation under Shanahan, right? So likely, I think what's going to occur is that Sermon will earn the role of being kind of like the bruiser, the guy who gets the majority of the carries early on, the lion's share of the carries. But then I see Mostert, once he's able to actually make it to the field, which I think he will. He'll be seen as the guy who's like the home run hitter, the finisher, and that's the role that Mostert's always been most successful in.
That should be his role. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not a heavy workload type load.
He's a put it away guy.
Yeah, Shanahan has shown he is not afraid to sit a running back to stay healthy and fresh legs. Yep. I mean, Jerick McKinnon last year, he was hurt for the previous 2 years. Yeah. He came out and had a really good couple games because there's no other running backs that was available on the roster. Mm-hmm. But then they just signed some people off the heap, and then they threw him in there because they were like, well, McKinnon just can't go right now.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to, try the hot hand pretty much and keep people fresh. But I think Trey Sermon's going to be able to produce more than not.
Yeah, I think if you're in a draft over the next 2 to 3 weeks, or you're doing best ball drafts right now, Trey Sermon is a huge value. An extreme value.
I'm afraid
that you
it's going to be not the value as much as we would like. Getting closer to the season for sure.
I think that he's a guy who's going to disappear from future sleeper episodes that we do. Or lists.
Sadly.
Yeah. All right, running back for Justin. What do you got?
All right, this is a guy. Let's see if you guys know him. Kenneth Gainwell. I guess he also goes by Kenny. So
Kenny G.
But right, average draft position, 18th round, second pick in the 18th round. So fun little fact. Well, for one, is average 64th running back. He started over Antonio Gibson in college at running back. Granted, Antonio Gibson was more of a gadget player in college. He had the running back, wide receiver. But man, when it comes to running backs coming out of Memphis, it's almost like this is running back university right now. We got Darrell Henderson in 2019 at the same time as Tony Pollard came out. The following year was 2020 with Antonio Gibson last year. Now Kenny Gainwell. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And
I think running backs of a certain size, right?
Right, that's true. That is true. But another reason why, he fell in the real draft, Kenny Gainwell did. He was an opt-out last year, but I look back at his 2019 numbers, and these are just crazy, Kyle. 1,459 rushing yards, 6.3 yards per carry, and he also had 51 catches and 610 yards receiving. That's what some people do in their entire college career.
Yeah.
He did that in a season.
Yeah.
So the thing that, my concern is there's a lot of running backs on this roster for the Eagles right now.
Yeah.
You got Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, and Kerryon Johnson. There is one person that's guaranteed a spot, and that's Miles Sanders, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think Gainwell is too to some extent.
I mean, outside of who I just said, I think it's just Miles Sanders and Gainwell. I mean, I like him a lot. He kind of reminds me of some of the athletic profile of a Nyheim Hines.
Yep.
And he's been able to carve out a nice little career with the Colts.
Yeah. I think the way I look at it is this is a different coaching staff, right?
Yeah.
They're not married to any of these running backs except Gainwell. They drafted Gainwell. So he's their guy that they're signing on for and saying he's gonna help us out a lot, right? So I think that he has a lot more potential than an 18th round pick. Rookies step right in at running back usually, guys,
especially at PPR guys, man. This is a guy that if you're in a deep PPR league, you really need to be targeting him early.
Yeah,
earlier than most people.
Yep. All right, speaking of former San Francisco running backs, right? We've got Tevin Coleman, ADP of 12.12, so last pick of the 12th round. He's averaged 55th running back off the board. So look, I'm not proud of this one. It's not pretty. It's a Jets running back. But you could do a lot worse than the back of the 12th round getting a RB1 on a team, right? So
was that pretty hard for you to write this one down?
It was.
Jets running back.
But you know what?
Well, at least you're not getting Adam Gase right now.
But it's we no longer have a coach who is right. So maybe the Jets are gonna step up. I mean, we've got Robert Saleh there, so maybe, right? So look, here's the problem with Coleman. One of the problems, right? One of the problems. Let's not narrow it down and say there's just one problem. There's problems, plural. He's likely to lose the job this year unless the guys behind him simply cannot stay healthy. So he's gonna start for you. You're gonna draft this guy, and he's going to be there for several weeks. And maybe you can find some potato in your league who's willing to trade for him at some point, right? But essentially, you're getting a rental, and maybe outperforms expectations, and you can dangle him as a trade chip, right? But look, here are my concerns with Coleman. All of them. It's Tevin Coleman, and it's the Jets.
Right.
But it's Robert Saleh, right? So maybe.
I mean, if he wants to run the same kind of running back offense the 49ers did, that one cut and go, Tevin Coleman's a good running back. That's
why he brought Coleman in. Coleman knows the offense already. So you have to anticipate that at some level, this dude's stepping right in as running back one. And so, come on, 12th round, you can pick up an RB1 off of a trash heap team, right? But... yeah.
And it's also one of those things where you don't have to put that much draft capital.
Yeah.
If he loses it a lot earlier than what we think, then, hey, guess what? cut bait.
Yeah.
You didn't invest that much into it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, maybe you got a guy who early on gets hurt right before the season or right as the season's starting, and you're hurting. If you've got this guy, you at least are going to put him in your lineup then at that point, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm drafting Tevin Coleman, I'm hoping I didn't have such a bad draft that I need to start him week 1. I mean, that's really how I'm
That would be
hoping.
a little rough. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. Although
Zero RB guy, huh?
Yeah, I think I did have James Robinson in my lineup week 1 last year, but it's because a guy I drafted got hurt or got put on IR the day after I drafted him.
Was that the Damian Harris pick?
It was Damian Harris because I literally read like a press conference quote from Bill Belichick that morning where he said
he's gonna be fine.
he's fine. He's going to be fine. He's good. We're good to go. And literally the next day he's on IR. And I'm like, how is he not getting fined for lying like that? He's clearly lying. Yeah.
Oh, he's been doing it for years. Everybody's like, it's just Bill.
Yeah, it's just Bill being Bill, right? Yeah. All right, here we go. Oh, Bill.
Only the cousin and brother will know that one.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Running back 6. There we go.
I got a super deep one for you, buddy. I got a super deep.
Yep.
Ramondre Stevenson. Hopefully I said that right. New England Patriots. ADP of
What is that?
ADP 21st round, first overall in that round. This is a huge behemoth man. He's about 6'2", 235, probably push about 240. He kind of fits that mold of a LeGarrette Blount. And whenever you say that name and you say Bill Belichick, New England Patriots, that means he could have some production fantasy-wise. So, Blount was very successful in his time with New England as just that battering ram into the red zone. And then you're looking at some of the running backs that are there in New England. We just mentioned Damian Harris. Another guy there, Sonny Michel, is also there. But Damian Harris,
you forgot one. He plays quarterback.
James White.
Though. Yeah, James. He plays quarterback. That's Cam Newton. But yeah, James White. Yeah, James White is there still.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we both presume that Damian Harris is going to be the starter. We also think that Sonny Michel could be cut before the season starts.
Yep.
Both of those players have injury concerns, and then James White. They've never given him the full workload, and why would they do that now when he's pushing 30?
Yeah.
So there are a few things that kind of need to fall into place for Stevenson to be really fantasy relevant, but it's not really out of the realm of possibilities. Mm-hmm. And this is a dart throw that, maybe you don't have to draft him on draft day, but maybe you just put a little star next to him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of those things, you know what I mean? Let's take a look and see what the workload is. I'm really happy that we're actually going to get preseason games, Kyle. Let's see what he looks like against NFL talent.
Yeah, I think that's a great opportunity. And I think that you're looking at a guy who has the potential to actually step in and steal actual opportunity away from the starter. Because the starter's never really performed. Damian Harris has never lived up to the promise. And so, you have to expect that there's going to be some opportunity available. Even with all of those guys there, I still see it happening to some extent. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us here at the Upside on our running back sleepers. Next, we're going to hit up wide receiver sleepers in tomorrow's episode, so check that one out. And you can always, check out the most recent episode. It is on the screen right around here somewhere. And we're going to see you next time. Later. Bye.
See you.